Oh, brilliant! Fantastic. So that is for tonight, and that is for tomorrow. Of these, fantastic. So I don't really need this now. Have I got?
Are we doing your deed?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. I have to get the music out.
Okay, we've got time. We've got time.
Good thing I remember.
In fact, I might even run to the loo. Okay. Welcome to all of you here and to those of you who are at home. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. We are using service siddur, service 2, page 75. A really warm welcome to all our visitors, to all regular members, all those who are hoping that baby Joel manages to sustain himself until the moment that he gets blessed. But we will not mind any discomfort or complaints from him will be warmly received. So we are ready for that. But as always, we love to begin our Shabbat services with Shalom Aleichem on page 76. Before I invite all the Landis clan to choose who amongst you come to light candles.
Shalom Aleichem, Malakei Asharet, Malakei Elyon. Melech Malakei Amlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Oakim b'shalom, Malakei Ashalom, Malakei Elyon. Melech Malakei Amlakim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nile Shalom, Malakei Hashalom, Malakei Elyon. Melech Malakei Amlakim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Zekem Shalom, Malakei Hashalom, Malakei Elyon. Melech Malakei Amlakim, Kadosh Baruch Hu.
So those of you who are at home, this is your moment. Find your candles, ready to light candles and usher in Shabbat. And us here in the sanctuary in the synagogue are going to stand, and we have two smichot, two celebrations this Shabbat, this weekend. We have the blessing and welcoming of baby Joel into our congregation, and tomorrow we have a very special Banot mitzvah, adult bat mitzvah. So we are truly in the process of celebration. But let me invite Joel's family, whoever is going to take responsibility for that, to light candles. Let's all of us stand. We're on page 75. So Jane and Brian will lead on everyone. Oh, I love it. A big family gathering and coming up to help us light 2 candles. Well, if we'd thought about it, we would have had more for you. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. So let's go straight to Yedit Nefesh, page 78.
Yedid Nefesh, Av HaRachaman, Av HaRachaman. Meshok Avdecha, El Retzonecha, El Retzonecha. Yedid Nefesh, Av HaRachaman, Av HaRachaman. Meshok Avdecha, El Retzonecha, El Retzonecha. Yaretz Avdecha, Kemo Hayal, Yishtachaveh, El Muladarecha. Yedid Nefesh, Avarakama, Avarakama, Meshokatecha, Eretzonecha, Eretzonecha.
We're going to move straight to Lachadodi. You can find Lachadodi on page 91. And we always stand for the last verse, Boi v'Shalom, on page 92, to really entrench us in welcoming Shabbat, but also any latecomers or people standing at the back that we want to bring in to the community. So that will be for the last verse.
Kadodi litrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Kadodi litrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Kadodi litrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
To the Baruch Hu. We've welcomed Shabbat, we've welcomed each other, and we go into the formal part of our service. Baruch Hu on page 92.
La
So instead of the next blessing paragraph before the Amidah, before the Shema, I offer Rabbi Mark Solomon's prayer. You form light and create darkness. As time is a tapestry of day and night, our lives are a weaving of light and dark. Like a slow dawn, we discover who we are. Like twilight, we linger in doubt and anxiety. We endure nights of rejection by others and ourselves, and bright days of acceptance and joy in who we are. You make peace and create everything. We look around and see a world of endless change and diversity. As we rejoice in the variety of creation, we come to accept our own uniqueness. As we delight in our own uniqueness, we appreciate all human diversity and live at peace with ourselves and with all creation.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amech ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al Ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu, Umeinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nizrach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. V'chayenu ve'orech yameinu, u'va'en nege yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavat al tasur, Timeinu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed.
Vahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, v'chol nafshecha, uv'chol mo'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi matzavacha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'aleftecha v'aderech, uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
From Rabbi Israel Matuk, this beautiful paragraph about what truth means, which is what the siddur invites us to think about. Truth is not the best loved of virtues, yet it is one of the noblest, as it is perhaps the hardest of them all. It needs courage and resolution and strength of will. It must be loved for its own sake, or it will not be practiced.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, תורה תהילות הוסיף מלך, תורה תהילות הוסיף מלך. אדוני אמור לעולם ועד, אדוני אמור לעולם ועד, לעולם ועד.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל Yisrael. And now together we offer our evening prayer for peace, shalom bayit, this extra blessing for peace that asks for us to be safe and safe from famine and distress and illness and war. And we know that that is never possible all the time. And we offer this prayer as we have been doing for the last 100 days or so, particularly with Ukrainians in mind. Praise you, O God, may your sheltering peace descend on us and all who dwell on earth. So page 97, this is our standing prayer, and we begin by hoping that our mouths, our lips can open and offer praise.
Adonai. Ananana Svatai Tifta. Ananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilate.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר מושיע מגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Unending is your might, eternal one. You are the source of life. Great is your power to redeem. You cause the wind to blow, the rain to fall, the sun to shine, and the dew to descend. In your love you sustain the living. In your compassion you grant us eternal life. You support the falling, you heal the sick, you free the captive, and keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of all strength? Who is your equal, sovereign author of life and death? Whose will it is that goodness shall prevail. Trusting in you we see life beyond death. We praise you, O God, source of eternal life. Kadosh atah v'norah shamecha, ve'ein lanu Eloah mibaladecha. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We can sit down, and now is our paragraph, our blessing for Shabbat. So whatever this day means for you, this evening, tomorrow, this is what we're singing about.
Amru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratan berit olam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinav שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם.
We praise you, O God, for the holiness of Shabbat. Eternal God, be gracious to your people Israel. In your love, accept their prayers. May our worship now and always be acceptable in your sight. We praise you, O God, whom alone we worship in reverence. And as always, those of you who are at home, feel free to share with us your moments and feelings of appreciation as we offer together tonight our prayer of thanksgiving and gratitude. Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu, le'olam va'ed. Tzur hayenu, magen yishenu, ata hu ledor vador, nodeh lecha nsapeh tehilatecha, al hayenu hamsurim biyadecha, v'al nishmotenu hapukudot lach, v'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu, v'al niflotecha v'tovotecha, shebachol eit erev v'vokev v'tzoharayim, baruch ata Adonai, hatov shemcha ulacha na'eh lohodot.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Kashim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Kashim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Kashim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael
Baruch ata Adonai oseh hashalom. So just a moment for us to take a moment for reflection, silent prayer, and to really think about one verse in this week's parasha that our fantastic four women will be teaching, illuminating for us tomorrow morning. But there's one clause that has really stayed with me as a message for us this weekend, which is when Moses is slightly harangued or critiqued by Miriam and Aaron, his siblings, who really offer this rather plaintive cry, hasn't God spoken through us as well as you? And for me, the message for this weekend and all that is happening for us in our congregation is that we all have a chance to really demand things for ourselves. We all have a chance to choose life and to choose the opportunity for something personal to come to us, to kind of raise ourselves up and take that confidence and that blessing of life to be able to celebrate ourselves and what we have in our lives. So an invitation for everyone tonight to just take a moment as we bask in just an unusual moment of silence in our Jewish services, to just think about how that has been for you. Up for baby Joel, he's about to be on.
Oh, say shalom Birama, say shalom aleinu, ve'al Israel, ve'al bnei Adam. Oh, say shalom Birama, say shalom aleinu, ve'al Israel.
Wonderful interlude tonight that before we reach the end of our service, we are pausing to bless the newest. Actually, Joel has lost that position now. Joel is not the newest member of our community because Gosha and Max welcomed their baby daughter on Monday evening, but Joel is almost the newest member of our community. He's the first to be blessed. And we get to bless and name him, and he is going to be accompanied by his parents and his grandparents on both sides. We really welcome you coming from Poland to meet your baby grandson and to share in the joy of the family, Cecilia and Jacek. Yeah, Jacek? So this is how it works. there is a little bit of audience participation towards the end of the baby blessing. It's very brief because we want Joel to remain asleep, very happy, and dream of being blessed. We are going to invite Joel and his family up onto the bima. We say the words that we say whenever a baby gets blessed, whenever a couple choose to get married and walk down the aisle. We say the words, Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, barachnuchehem mi beit Adonai. So we welcome Joel. Blessed be the one who comes in God's name. In God's house, we ask God's blessing. So Joel, because he can't walk himself yet, that would be bizarre, as he is literally weeks old, is going to bring his mother, his father, and both sets of grandparents to come up. Usually I like to see the baby pass to a grandma, but we're going to quit when we're ahead with a happy, sleepy baby. So we're going to come up now, all of you, up onto the bima. I'm going to hover by the microphone for a moment to just explain a little more. And thank you, Brian. Yes, I want you to bring that up with you. He's adorable. And I'm sure for Adam and Carolina, he's even more adorable because he's asleep and happy right now. So we're just going to gather round. And just before Adam and Carolina say anything, I'm going to ask you to stand if you're comfortable standing in a moment, because we are going to open the ark. And I think it would be really nice if Jane and Brian just open the ark and whiz back here. Stay seated if you're more comfortable seated. This is not essential. Wonderful. So, God of all generations, we say, we welcome this child into our community, our congregation. We give thanks for the miracle of new life. We share in the happiness and gratitude of his parents and his grandparents who brought him to us. This whole intergenerational family are now beloved members of our synagogue, and we welcome you coming to see your daughter. No, not the first grandchild. Is it the first grandchild? Second grandchild, but here in London. So we know that you two, I can't think of a better couple, Adam and Carolina, that will raise him with a strong sense of his legacy, his inheritance on both sides, his London, British, Jewish heritage, his Polish heritage, and you will integrate it together to give the very best to baby Joel. Before we bless Joel and give him his name, we really want to hear a moment from his parents, who amazingly are going to manage to read and hold him. But just while they get their readings, I really want to share something that Martin Buber, great Jewish philosopher, although he was mostly concerned with talking about how we engage with God, he also wrote this. He said, every person born into this world represents something new, something and someone who has never existed before, someone original and unique. And if there had been anyone like baby Joel born into this world before him, there would be no need for him to be in this world. Every single person is a new thing in the world and called upon to fulfill their own particularity. Now we'll give Joel a little bit of time before we ask him to perform his own particularity, but for now we're very happy that he's calm, happy, feels the joy of all of you in his congregation. Adam and Carolina, do you want to use the microphone? I'm turning to here for you to read your two readings before we get to bless him.
My child, you have been as dear to me as my own breath. May I hold you gently now with the love to keep you close and with the strength to let you grow. God of all generations, bless our child and bless us with the gift of health so that he may grow pursuing justice and seeking peace.
We have been blessed with the gift of new life. We have shared love and pain and joy in bringing our child into life and have been privileged to participate in the marvel and beauty of creation. By the way in which we live, we aspire to teach our child to become a caring and loving person. We hope that in seeking to fulfill himself, he will also accept his responsibilities to others and all his heritage.
But we'll give him a bit of time to do that, won't we? Lovely, lovely. Now, we are going to try something that really, it feels a very dangerous thing to do, to slightly move a sleeping baby. But Brian, on behalf of him and Jane, has his talit, and we are going to try and wrap baby Joel. And we can do it so that Carolina and Adam get wrapped in the talit, so that Joel doesn't get moved at all. I have a feeling that those of you who are at home are getting the most amazing view of Joel's sleeping face and looking right at the camera. So we are going to offer a blessing on behalf of all of you at home, all of you here, all of the Delving crew, some of whom have come in tonight as kind of loving members of the smaller Delving community, which is our Introduction to Judaism class, are here to wish you well. And you can hold it so we still see a tiny bit of Joel, although he's probably enjoying being nestled in there. So I'm going to, with great pride, name Joel now, and then we offer, as we always do, the Shehechianu blessing, the blessing for reaching a moment for the first time. And as I said, Joel comes and brings so much joy and poignancy to this family, so much kind of hope and a cause for celebration, and allowing you both, especially you and Jane and Brian, grandparents here that no doubt have seen Joel probably for every day of his life, to be able to kind of hold on to what that means of this moment of joy and this addition to your family. Misha Berach, Avotenu, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Ve'imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Hu Yevarech et Hayeled Hazeh. Vayikare Shemo b'Yisrael Yoel ben Adam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishmarehu mikol ra. Vayiten lo chayim arukim v'yochonen ma'aseh yadav. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel and Leah, bless this child, whose name in the house of Israel, in the Jewish community, will be Joel, son of Adam and Carolina. May God guard him from all evil, grant him a long life, establish the work of his hands. May his parents and his grandparents rejoice in this child and help him to grow up, that he may bring blessing to his family, to the Jewish community, and to all humanity. And let us say, Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, v'yetzianu v'kimanu v'hiviyanu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, v'yetzianu v'kimanu v'hiviyanu b'zman hazeh.
So I'm going to offer the blessing that Dean is going to sing to all of us later. But this is a blessing for baby Joel, and when he wakes up, may he feel and remember this blessing that he received, but may his parents and grandparents remind him of it. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmarecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yihunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you, Joel, and look after you. May God look kindly upon you and be very gracious to you. May God reach out to you in tenderness and give you peace. May Joel hold on to that now. And now, this is the audience participation. instead of a Torah scroll being paraded, and I owe this to Rabbi Jeff Newman, who was my teacher as I trained to be a rabbi, and told me he liked to do this. Joel, with his entourage, will be parading as we sing Siman Tov and Mazel Tov. You are welcome to reach your hand out, maybe not kiss him because we don't want him to wake up, but reach your hand out, whatever you'd like to do, so that you add to the blessing for Joel tonight.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yeilanu. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov,
So I forgot to give you, and I'm going to ask grandparents to come up and get it, that this is a certificate for Joel to have in his little baby nursery, a certificate of his name, and I think Josie's going to share that with people at home. So with the quotation from the book of Proverbs, start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn away from it. This is to certify that Joel Robert Landis has been given the Hebrew name Yoel ben Adam and welcomed into our community. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai. So this, I'm going to give it to the safekeeping of grandparents to look after this for him. So I'm going to ask the rest of us to stand now. Page 520.
אשר שם חלקנו ליגן את שמו ומור עלינו להמליך מלכותו
go towards Kaddish that can be found on page 524. We know well in Judaism that of the circle of life that allows us to move between joy and mourning at a moment's notice, and that all of that is part of the rich tapestry of life. So we turn to our yard sites and to those who are mourning. We think particularly of the grandmother of Max Rebuck and Gosha, whose Max's grandmother Gillian Benson died just a day after Lenny Ella, their daughter, was born. And we wish them long life, and for her, Zichrana Livracha. As we turn to the yard sites in our congregation, we think particularly this Shabbat of Leon and Maya Fredman, brothers of Braham Fredman, of Leo Rosenbaum, father of Jackie Fawcett, and of Deborah Sanders, mother of Rochelle Simmons. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and may those who recall and remember their loved ones be comforted in their loss, as we say the words of the Kaddish with them. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shamei rabbah, bi'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'hayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dochol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam amel maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithada v'yitaleh v'talal shemei dekudusha brichu, leila min kol v'shirata, tushbahata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'hayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru amen. So let's sit down as we offer to each one of us, to each other, that priestly blessing that Dean has put to music. And as we do so, maybe whoever's on welcoming might bring wine and challah out to everyone, so we're able to jump straight into Kiddush with everyone at home. Page 563. Sorry, Dean.
Yisimcha Elohim Ephraim V'Kim Menashe Elohim Sarah Karahel Leah Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha, v'yilunecha, v'yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom. Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha, v'yilunecha, v'yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Let's stand as we finish our service, and those of you who are at home, hopefully you've had a chance to get your wine or whatever you are making Kiddush over. As we go into Kiddush, and our blessing over challah, and then we can move back to the kiddush table and just be with each other for a moment.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'bratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit Ihu yom tehillah lemikra kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu b'chata leotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'bratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Next stop, you ladies, as we go into your Banot mitzvah tomorrow. But for now, let's just go to the back, be able to congratulate babies, grandparents, parents, etc. Shabbat shalom to all of you who are at home, and lovely to see so many from morning meditation and delving.